All right, sorry, there was some computer stuff and I got a little mixed up. So, all right, welcome to today's class. So, this class is how to not wake up angry. So, I have been working, I've so those of you that have worked with me in the past, there's some stuff has changed. I've just gone into more detail, really trying to solve my clients' problems. And one of the things that I was noticing is that a lot of clients would complain about they would just wake up angry. So sometimes some of them would it would be fluctuate between anxiety and anger, but for the most part, they would wake up angry and wouldn't even know why they were angry, what was causing the anger. And so that's the premise of this class. I was like, I've got to see if I can help some people understand what's going on and what they can do about it. So um, one of the things that if this is you, so if you're waking up angry 2 to 3 times, more than 2 to 3 times a month. The body should not be waking up angry. It should actually be waking up in a very refreshed, rejuvenated, happy state if it's doing the correct detoxing and all of the processes that need to take place through the night. So if you're waking up more than 2 to 3 times a night or a month, then that means that this is going to help you. Also, anger's stopping you. So stopping you from something. So you'll notice that there's possibly things you want to be doing. There's maybe new stuff you want to try, but there's like you just feel angry and so you're not taking any steps to do something for yourself is normally where I see this. Also, you've tried other strategies. A lot of times with anger, meditation doesn't always work, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. But what I've seen over and over with clients is a lot of the strategies that they try to do to relieve other emotions don't always work for anger. And so there is anger's just it's a character of its own in the body and what are the processes that it does, the way that it's stored. And so a lot of the other strategies you've tried don't work for actual anger. And so that's this is going to be helpful to you because it's going to be just a different way of seeing things and feeling stuff. On a super and yeah, just remember everything that I do is very holistic, very normally outside of the box. But excess anger is stored inside the body, normally in the liver. And so a lot of people will wake up between the hours of 1 and 3 and say that they have to go to the bathroom or they just moved around or they had to go get a drink. Something happens, but normally if you're moving around and if you have a watch that tracks your sleep, this is actually something interesting to watch is if you're waking up between 1 and 3. Um, Sometimes it extends a little bit later till like the 4 o'clock hour, but what that because excess anger is stored in the liver, when the body's detoxing through the night, if there is extra anger built up in the body, and then the your energy gets into cleaning out the liver, if there's extra, dumps a bunch of toxins into the body, you get all of these toxins that your body now has to take care of. And so normally that's when you go to the bathroom or you start to wiggle or something starts to happen. So that's, you can see how this is the preface before waking up angry. This is actually very fascinating. So if you're waking up in the night, you always want to understand the time frame that you're waking up and what is your body asking you to do when you wake up. So, but yeah, anger is stored inside in the liver. Anger also raises your cortisol levels, because when you're angry, obviously you have that rush of you want to kill someone or you want to punch something or whatever. But that higher level of cortisol, if your anger is unprocessed and is stored in the body as excess, then your cortisol levels never really get to come down. So you can kind of see it with, I mean, if you just look in society, you can see angry people, right? And some of their behaviors aren't always rational, but what over time, if you don't process your anger, then you start to behave and do things that you wouldn't normally do if you had lower levels of cortisol. Um, Something else that's about anger is that this is normally starts to develop in the body around the ages of 18 months to 4 years of age. And so um, that's just part of where it starts to store. You start to understand anger in other people. You start to understand anger towards people. I mean, not really understand, but that's when this emotion starts to develop. So when we go into this a little bit more, when you're feeling angry, you do feel very childish and in the behaviors that you want to do it when you're angry, right? Like yelling and screaming or getting mad at someone, which makes sense because it's all framing from this brain of a little tiny 18 months to 4 year old is where this is all stems from. Not always the topic probably possibly, but your reaction and how you're going to deal with your behavior. It comes from that young of an age, which a lot of times we're so hard on ourselves. We feel angry, right? You shouldn't be yelling at anyone. You shouldn't be stomping. Something that is really actually funny about me is because people think they just don't. I mean, I'm an adult now, but I had tons of anger as a kid. And I learned at a very young age how to patch holes in drywall because I had punched so many holes in the wall. I punched holes, I kicked walls, and out of pure anger. So, in a second, when I show you some more about that, is when I get angry still, like sometimes I can see myself, depending if I let myself get too angry, wanting to go down that road. Like most of the time for me now, it's like I'd want to yell or something. But at a younger age, I would punch and kick, and I destroyed a lot of walls. So yes, if you ever need help patching drywall, that's what I do. So the other thing about anger is that anger is has to be released on an energetic level. So because I used to, I mean, I still do energy work. So the different energy methods, you have to get the anger off of and out of your body. So it's other emotions and things. We can meditate, we can calmly calm them down. Anger is a little bit different because of the way the vibrational frequency of it, it's different. And so it needs to have an actual physical release. And I'll show you that in a moment. But that's part of why if you're waking up angry, um, you might just not be getting that energetic release like it actually really needs, and then it could be causing part of the problem. So, and I said this here, but that forms around 18 months to 4 years of age. So if you have kids around that age, or you grandkids, or you're watching kids around that age, it's very interesting to watch them and see what they do when they're angry. This gives you a ton of insight into ourselves as adults, and the way we behave and the things that we do when we're angry, and the coping mechanism, the coping strategy. So the problem is that we not allowing this process, the actual process of anger to release our body, we are not taught this. Most of the time, as to no one's fault, other than we just the way things happened in society, but we were told you shouldn't be angry about that. Why are you angry about that? They didn't do anything to you, or and I mean, we're all probably guilty for saying that same thing, but we're never taught to actually like go with the flow of the anger and process the anger in the way that actually works with the body. Most of us learned that we should suppress it, we shouldn't talk about it, and it should just not, you should just not be angry. Good people aren't angry. And that is a very false premise, because anger is an emotion that we have. It's in our bodies, it was given to us, and it can be utilized and processed correctly. And so learning to work with the body rather than against it is the game changer here. And then the anger from the like that little child of us is what is act like unprocessed anger, anger that we don't even know that we have, most of the time is what is affecting our anger at our current life, in our current life. So that is one of the things that we might not even remember what we got angry about as a little kid, but our brain remembers how we reacted, what we were and were not allowed to do when we were angry. And so it's filtering any time you feel angry through this very young mind. And it's affecting your life now. So it's affecting your relationships with your kids, it's affecting the way you're talking to your kids, it's affecting your relationship with your husband. I mean, if I just look at my relationship with my husband, hands down, I can see there's times when both he and I have had very, he's reacting like a 4-year old and I'm reacting like a 2-year old. And we're just neither of us are processing the anger correctly, and we shut up, be quiet, suppress it, and then it comes back later blowing up even more. So anger is one of those things, again, that I said is stored in the body. And so when you learn to process it correctly and to release it out of the body in the way that it wants, then we have the coherence through the entire body. So um, and so we're not, this is the other thing, that just a kind of reiteration, that we're not taught how to process anger. And so we go ahead, even though we're trying to do things better for our kids, it doesn't take long to look at one of our kids' behaviors and, wonder, like, how did we teach them that? I didn't want to teach them that. But this is what is causing a problem. So it's not only that you're waking up angry, but that you have all of these other things that are happening too. Something that I have seen, I actually need to do more research, but with my set of clients that I've worked with over the years, there's correlations that I've seen. So those that are waking up angry also have some sort of injury that will not heal. They also have a skin issue, which anger, because it's the liver is directly associated with your skin. So it's not just the issue of waking up angry, but now they've got an injury, they've got skin issues that won't clear up. And actually, I have yet to meet one of my clients yet that does not have a child that she is so angry with, but just like throws her off, like just makes her so angry. And all of them are stored in the exact spot of the liver. And so this is exactly why all of these things, you work on one, you start fixing all of them. That's kind of the process um, that is what actually happens. So here's the solution to this very big slash simple problem is to make it super, super easy, is that when you have anger, and we know if you're waking up angry or you're doing any of those other things I talked about, that you do have anger, that you fully, fully, fully involve your body. And so this step, these two steps kind of go together. But what I'm saying is that you know exactly where the anger is in your body, and you will know because your body's telling you. So when I feel angry, it's for sure in my chest. It's like that is where, not only in my liver, but like that's where it's stored, is in my heart area. Some people, when they're angry, they get a headache in the back of their head. So we know, okay, literally just find where your anger is stored. So if you took a moment right now and you were like, okay, where do I normally have my anger stored at? If you just sat there for a second, you probably really do know. And so understanding that you must include the body in this process, then that's what we're saying, is to fully involve the body, which I'll get into more detail here. This is exactly why you could journal all you want about who you're angry at, or you could do all of this thought work and stuff about anger, and you could have progress. But if you don't do the energetic release and you do not utilize your body in the process, anger just holds on like a little leech. It doesn't want to leave, simply it feels like it's protecting you. Okay. So in step two is to make sure that you have internal movement. So basically that is the thoughts of it. You really want to understand what it is you're mad about, who you're mad at, what, you like, what did they do? Why are you, what is the one sentence that you could say about why you're mad? And so if you're waking up angry and you're saying you don't know that you're why, just be there for a second and see if you can answer any of these questions at that point. What do I feel mad at? I feel mad at my husband already. It's 5 a.m. and I'm already mad at him. Okay, what am I mad at him for? I don't know, he looked at me wrong. Like really seriously, take the time to find out the specific answers of this internal stuff. What is causing the anger? And the more you question it, and the more you just are like, so why, what, where, this is creating a movement of the body. It can no longer be hidden when you question it. Those of you that have ever done any sort of like ego work or studied any of that, the ego, one of the fastest ways to get rid of it is to question it. So if your ego is holding on to anger or your brain is holding on to anger, your questioning it is one of your best tools. So you've located it in your body. Now you're just asking questions. Now the thing to ask, to remember when you're doing this internal movement and you're creating this internal movement is that you that you stay out of judgment. You don't use any of the questions against yourself. So or the answers against yourself. So you find out that you're just mad that your husband looked at you wrong. You cannot use that against you. You're just only using it as information, because we want, as long as it's just strictly information, it will flow through the body and the body will be able to detox of it. It's not, normally we don't do that. We just we find out why we're upset and then we harp on ourselves. We go all crazy on ourselves, guilt and shame. And then your brain's like, okay, well, let's just store this a little bit deeper in that liver. And then it just keeps wreaking havoc on so much of the body. And so that's why you want to just make sure that when you answer these questions, very factual. There's no judgment. You're literally just doing some investigation. And that's what's going to create that internal movement. And then the third step is to create an external movement. So that means that you're going to actually, now that you've located the anger in your body, you want to see what is the physical behavior that your body is wanting to do when you're angry. So like I said, when I was young, I wanted to punch and hit things. So I know I've got anger stored up here in this upper part of my body. I had it stored in my feet and my legs. So you want to be able to see, what is it that I want to do when I'm angry? And the best thing is to practice this with your kids, because it doesn't seem so weird to do it with our kids, and then we're better at doing it with ourselves. But so like I said, at the age that I'm at now and the amount of clearing out of this anger that I've had in the past, I now only when I get angry, I possibly want to yell. That's the thing. So I know if I have any anger left in my body, it's all up here in my throat. And so whatever the action is that you want to take when you're angry, you want to go ahead and exaggerate it. So remember, I said we have to use the body. And so down here, when you understand what it is your body wants you to do, I just have an urge to punch someone. Not that you're going to go punch someone, but you want to really exaggerate the movement of your arm. So maybe you go in the bathroom and so nobody sees you and you don't think you're a crazy weird lady, which actually who cares, because it's better to get rid of this stuff, is you go and you exaggerate the punching motion, or you exaggerate the yelling. If I the times that it happens, I'll go get in the car and drive to the grocery store or whatever and just get it all out of my voice. That sounds just because that's what the actual action that my body's asking for. I need to exaggerate that. That helps pull the excess energy out of that part of the body. So if I'm wanting to stomp my feet or kick something, right? I need to really exaggerate that. I need to help get the energy out of my feet. And so like, again, like I said, if you practice it with your kids, it makes way more sense. So if you're angry and you want to stomp, then stomp and get it out. Let your body get it out. A lot of times we believe that if we teach our kids that it's okay to stomp when they're angry, that they're going to always stomp. That's not the case. Normally you get them to stomp, like exaggerate the stomping, and then you can use your words and come back in and talk to them and say, what were you angry about? And you can really give them some tools, but they're not going to listen, and it's going to store and become a big problem later if you're telling them that they should not be doing the action that they're doing. Or if they're seeming angry and they need to kick something, then you take them outside and you go kick a ball. Or, same for yourself. If you feel like you're angry and you're going to kick something, you go outside and stomp your feet, or you go on a run, whatever it is. But if it's in the upper part of the body, like things like I've taught clients, you can do karate chop. This is just the type of treatment that I do, TFT, but you can karate chop the sides of the hands. This really activates the energy, the stored anger, releases it from the body. You can do this. You can see a lot of people, like when they're angry, they're going like this. That's like add to that, like exaggerate it. They'll make it big, pull that anger out, and get it moving through the body and out of the body. If it's in your stomach, right? Just what is your stomach asking you to do? Maybe it's needing to go to the bathroom. So then you're going to sit there and you're going to go to the bathroom longer, or you're going to create movement on this part of your body so that you have actual like movement to release the anger out of the body. On the head, you can see people actually do this. But if you can tell, I'm holding still, so maybe you're going to like do more massage. You're going to move the anger out of the body. So those are the three super important steps. Like you do need to do all of them to be able to really heal. But what happens is you start taking these steps on a very regular basis. Like if you got off the call right now and you did just one of these, even if you're not angry, like just tap into your body and just ask yourself, where does my body, I know it stores in the liver, but where else? Where is my body letting me know that the anger is? And then seeing if you can just be like, if I'm angry, what do I feel angry about? A lot of times mine would be things like, ultimately I was angry at God, or I was angry at an authority figure. I was angry for someone giving me some sort of restrictions, too tight of boundaries and guidelines. And so once I was able to see a lot of these patterns when I was doing my internal work, and then in the meantime, using my body in a very like deliberate way, it's not very rare that I get super angry anymore, like literally. And I don't wake up angry at all anymore. That's just, I haven't had that for a really long time. But it's because I've deliberately done this work. So do this work for yourself, practice, practice, practice. It doesn't just happen in one day, especially if you're like, if I'm 43 and I have 40, 2 years or whatever of stuff, it's going to take a little bit of time. So it's more just be consistent, listen to yourself, make sure that you use your actual physical body. And then if you need help or you want to go into more depth, this is one of the parts of my 12-week program that I do with clients, is when, depending what their body's dealing with, we will go into into a lot of depth on the anger that's stored inside of their body and how to process it. So if anybody has any questions, you can, let's see here. If you do have any questions, you can go ahead and message me those. Otherwise, if you want to talk, if you want me to meet one-on-one, we can. I can totally show you some more of this in-depth process. And like I said, if you've worked with me before, it's so much fun because I've just, through lots and lots of practice and with other clients, I've been able to get some more solid. So you can either just message me on Instagram or Facebook, whichever you saw this at, or my email is danapalmercoaching@gmail.com. And I would love to we could do just a call where we can see if we could be of any help, if that's the way that works for you, would work best for you. But yeah, I do have a 3-month one-on-one coaching program, and that's where I meet weekly with clients. I take them through the entire healing process of the body. There is a very strategic way to work with the body rather than against it. And so that you're clearing things on the energy level, emotional and physical level, one thing at a time, strategically. So that's been a very fun thing. It's actually really cool to watch as the more clients that I've worked with, and I'm more able to fine tune these things, to be able to see like how much more quickly people are getting results and just feeling so much better. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and yeah, reach out to me. Otherwise, I will send out this recording so that you for sure have it and you can practice and do this stuff. But otherwise, if there are no questions, I will talk to you guys all later. So let me just double check one more time. All righty, yeah, so let me go ahead and email me if you do have any questions. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for being here and have fun with this. All right, and get a better night's rest and wake up feeling not angry in the morning. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.